With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Last week, the stars at night were big and bright deep in the heart of Texas. We saw one of the Acosta brothers come out in victory lane. Today, we're going to see the stars shine bright in the daylight of Talladega. That's right, welcome to the PRL Cup Series coverage of the Talladega Super Speedway race here on RaceSpotTV. My name is Derek Watson, joined tonight along with Lorenzo Bonder. You see our Twitter names there on the bottom. Lorenzo, chaos is probably what's up on the menu, right?
Chaos and then something else. Always is something else. It's Talladega. Can we say drama, a little bit of spiciness? Of course, nothing like Mac Afton and Nick Sanchez, but it always provides some electric racing. I love Talladega. I haven't run it in years, though. I have to run it again sometime.
Yeah, well, speaking of what's been run, let's take a look at the schedule here for this Cup Series. It started at Bristol, then we went to Texas, now Talladega. Now we'll move on to the Roval next week, but then Vegas, Homestead, Martinsville, Phoenix. That'll round out your actual real-life NASCAR schedule, and then we'll get the Kansas Oval and the Chicagoland Speedway to round out this 10-race schedule. Now let's take a look at the points, see how we round up after 2 races. First off, we'll get our overall points. This is the season-long playoff standings. You see the numbers on the right, who's up and down spots. You see right now Trent Dinkel's still there. Abner Acosta and Jose Acosta, their names are in blue because due to winning, they are already locked in to the next round. So we'll wait and see how those fan out. But now let's take a look at this season schedule, or season's points, pardon me. Abner Acosta up in first place. Trent Dinkel's in second, back 14 points. Joshua Daniels in third with Chris Hudson in fourth. Pat Harvey's in fifth. Robert Besaw Jr. is in sixth. Eric Papineau, Maverick Davis, Federico Weisenholder, and James O'Brien rounding out your top 10. Now, the other points we track here, of course, in PRL are the team standings. Let's take a look at those. We got private label team height with 172, well ahead of SGE Esports Pioneer back at 148. Then Love Racing, SGE Esports Ironman, and D-Block round out your top 5, with SSR Elite, Hyperion Racing, Prestige Worldwide, Michael Peters Racing Esports, and Brogoli Esports rounding out your top 10. Still lots of time for any team to make up some points there. But speaking of making up space and time left, let's look at qualifying. Cars still heading out on track here in this qualifying format here at Talladega. Of course, it's single car qualifying, no drafting, nothing like that. We have just begun, so we're going to have to take a moment and wait for cars to come out on track. But we do want to thank you guys for heading out here tonight. And before we get into our spots, our qualifying, let's look and thank our sponsor. First off, Advanced Sim Racing. Advanced Sim Racing is owned and operated by passionate sim racers, and Advanced Sim Racing designs and builds the most sturdiest and most durable aluminum profile racing simulation cockpits available in the market today. All PRL members get a 5% discount on ASR products using the Precision 5 coupon code. Next up is Racebox Sim Racing. Racebox offers and designs mid and high-end button boxes for sim racing enthusiasts. From the most casual gamers to the most meticulous of sim racing drivers, these are competitively priced and carefully handcrafted button boxes are an enjoyable addition to any sim racing setup. Visit RaceSpotTV.com and get a 5% discount code using the Precision 5 coupon code. Next up is the Butt Kicker. The Butt Kicker provides and products add an incredible immersion and realism to every game. Feel every nuance and truly put yourself in the driver's seat. Mecha Sim Hardware. Mecha Sim Hardware is a small company from the Czech Republic, and their goal is to produce high-quality sim racing hardware. If you're looking for a high-end pedal set, a handbrake, or a sequential shifter, visit Mecha Sim Hardware's eShop right now to get yourself up to speed. Then Moradness. Moradness is a performance lifestyle brand motivated by motorsport and founded by professional race car driver Daniel Morad. For more information, visit moradness.com. And lastly, Mr. Hedge Sim Racing Photography. Mr. Hedge Sim Racing Photography captures your finest, proudest, and, well, Lorenzo, simply your worst moments from your hobby in up to 8K resolution. They're a great addition to any sim room, so go visit Mr. Hedge Sim Racing Photography for more information. Well, Lorenzo, we're going to have some proudest, and probably some worst moments here today, but let's start with the highlight for some drivers, which is qualifying. Let's take a look out here and see how we're doing. We'll get a look on track here. That'll be our first car we're going to see here. About a little less than 2 minutes left, and Lorenzo, this is James O'Brien. Look at him cutting the apron there. Yeah,
everything you can kind of cut to try to minimize the trouble that you have to the finish line you can get is basically really good. But let's pick facts right here. I know we're seeing some of these guys doing qualifying now. Back to Lou Christian. Lou, so far in 7th place with a really good time. 52.962 is for the SG Pioneer driver. The thing is, where do you want to qualify in a race like this? And we were having discussions of, 90-something laps or 90 minutes. Where do you see, given the fact this could be a timed race instead of a lap-based race?
Yeah, of course, there's many different strategies here for qualifying out of super speedways. Some drivers want to be up front. They believe that's how you avoid the wrecks and the calamity. Some people want to be in the back. They want to lay back and wait until it's go time, whatever that is in their head. But here's Luke Christensen. He is a 52.962. That's going to put him pretty decently up in 7th place. Here's Tommy Brandon now in that number 11 machine. That beautiful black, gray, and red machine he has. Last time was a 52.995. Typically, Lorenzo, your second lap is faster.
Yeah, because you're still building up the heat in the tires, especially the right-hand side. And once you build that up and you can actually push the car ahead, that's where you can get that really good travel around the car. And also, you already gave a proper lap around Talladega. The only thing is just to see if the tape that you put up in the car with the setups that you can kind of do in plate racing give you enough top speed and acceleration to, come out of the high bankings of Talladega and do the proper laps. Qualifying is over.
Qualifying is over. So let's go ahead and take a look here at our starting grid. And we're going to see how they line up as soon as it gets loaded in here. We'll take a look at our pole sitter. Of course, they'll earn a bonus point here in the season. That's Joshua Daniels at a 52.986. Trent Dinkel's on the outside in P2 with Waldo Walden and Paul Bergoli in 3 and 4. And then Park Hilliard and James O'Brien qualified 5th and 6th. Moving back to P7 is Luke Christensen with Robert Bisson in 8th. Rodrigo Luca and Abner Acosta will round out your top 10. And then Tommy Brandon and Richard Pruitt, 11th and 12th. Next up is Chris Vincent with Pat Harvey on the outside P14. Robert Gambrell and Federico Weisenholder in 16th. And then Chris Hudson and Tristan Callahan are 17, 18. Then Jay McDonald and Tom Massey with Eric Papineau and Reagan Chandler behind them. And then Jose Acosta, last week's winner back in 23rd with Landon Mills in 24th. Go back to 25th. We'll find Maverick Davis with Nathan Deering in 26th. Mike Witt and Jose Medina in 28th. Bradley Moore, 29th. And Colton Easterday all the way back in P30. And that will round out our field. So drivers are getting their last minute instructions from race control. Just being reminded to be patient. Lorenzo, how many super speedway drivers do you know who are patient at the start of a race?
None.
Yeah, you had to think about it for a second, right? This none. That's that. Yeah, like
Yep.
maybe no. Yeah, none.
Nope. None at all. It's like
None
imagine
at
if you're P30 and you're like, I'm just gonna stay P30 right here and nothing's gonna happen to me. Ho ho ho! And I come to the pit lane and everything's gonna be just fine. I don't think it's gonna work like that, buddy.
We'll take some looks and sights and see some scenes from the grid here as drivers are coming off on pit road here, or not off pit road, but off the grid here. Pardon me. We don't use pit road here at Talladega. We let them line up on the track and get moving. This race will be either 130 minutes or 95 laps, whichever happens first. While we're doing our traffic, let's do traffic and weather together. Let's take a look at the track conditions, Lorenzo. What do they sit at currently? Currently, it's 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Just to help you out, that's a little above, I think, 35 degrees Celsius, roughly.
Degrees.
Yeah, see, I am well seasoned. I know my Celsius a little bit.
No, you're doing. Actually, it's like 37.7. What Google says, as we're looking into Luke Christian, he's already looking, what am I going to do?
Yeah, it looks a little nervous, doesn't he? Like he's just, I don't know. But that beautiful wheel there. I love that wheel with that nice color there on the top of it. So it is 1:23 virtual sim time as we're now looking at Pat Harvey. Beautiful room there with a nice couch. Everything's well made and nice kept room there for Pat Harvey. And it deserves an award for that.
Cave.
It does. It does look like a man cave. I got the little mini fridge there on the side. Here we go. This is Chris Hudson, I believe. Yeah, look, I know on my drivers. So driver number 43 car. Look at the triple screen setup. Got the overlays there on the screen, and he's ready to go. That's Chris Hudson. Look, he's even got the GoPro in the back. Now here's our famous one, Trent Dinkel. That's what Trent looks like every week. That same jersey, that same hat, the glasses, the facial hair. I think they just like freeze him, like cryogenically freeze him Monday through Saturday.
No, it's really good. I'm not going to complain about that. And the Colton Easter Day, often collaborates with us, so good.
How many monitors do you need there?
Too many.
Well, tell you what. Speaking of monitors, you're going to want to use all of them because the pace car is down, and for the first time tonight, we're going to get led around to the green flag by Joshua Daniels. And PRL, we do go on the green flag. There's Barney the flag man. And any moment now, green flag is in the air. We are live at Talladega.
Looking forward to see how this top line is going to collaborate right now, because you can see 5 cars and everybody's going to come across. And sometimes top line doesn't often indicate that everything's going to be just fine. You kind of have to take it as patient to kind of go in and flow and work with the flow. And of course, we know that Blaney and Harvick kind of found both lines earlier in the day, and with Blaney just coming out on top by nearly a full 1,000th of a second. But still, this is different than real life. So really looking forward to see the communication between all these drivers moving forward and who's making friends with who.
Well, I'll tell you what's not different is that bump drafting is starting early. Look at it, Ab, here on the top line. We're going to have a nice battle back to the line for the first time. It doesn't mean anything, Lorenzo, but these guys don't know that. Look at him here, side by side, as many rows deep as you can count. There's your first lap, and I'm pretty sure Trent Dinkle, yep, already out to the front on the outside here. Trent is a common name here in the series, a common winner, and he's not wasting any time to find himself in the lead.
Absolutely not, and doing a really good job so far trying to make usage. I think that's Paul Brigali on the outside that's kind of pushing him. You can see the push down below from Josh Daniels on Walden coming to the bottom lane, and normally with that race spot sticker on the side of the number 77 of Daniels, you would expect maybe 5-10 kilometers or like 2-3 miles per hour. Wouldn't make a difference in a plate track like this, but you know, plate tracks, you never can be sure if that speed is going to be enough.
Yeah, you're never sure. You'll see the lines get back and forth, a little bit of movement back and forth. This time, it's going to be Daniels. That bottom line will lead back to the line. Daniels led it by less than 1/10 of a second over Dinkle. Well, the only difference you'll see is towards the back of the line. I can see just where the gaps form. So we got 2, 3, 4, probably 8 cars deep on each line here, Lorenzo. And then it kind of starts to scatter from there.
Yeah, because one of the things is like, once everything's kind of like starts to snake in and things like that, so it more becomes on how do you mitigate at the very back. You try to come closer, still stay within this big line. Of course, everybody's going to give toe to one another. There will be kind of a separation, but you're still going to be coming closer and closer whenever crunch time comes. So right now is just, you know, lifting off, trying to give so gas as wherever it's needed, and just enjoy the ride while you still can.
Yep, speaking of enjoying the ride, you saw the ride there briefly from the view of Lou Christensen, currently riding back in P4 as the last time by the line. So you see there on the side of your screen, the top of your screen actually, Bradley Moore set the fastest lap. And you're kind of like, what? Because Bradley Moore is not leading this race. That's right, at Talladega, with the way the draft works, typically the guy 4th or 5th back will be the driver to set the fastest lap and have a good run. But here we go again. Look at that bumping back there. Dinkle's getting all he can handle from Paul Bergoli.
Yeah, and this bumping is going to be happening the entire time, so nothing that thinks he had. I just think there's not a lot of collaboration on the top side, you know, just losing a little bit of ground to that bottom side. That is surprising me a little bit. I don't know if there's more grip or more arrow exchange on that bottom lane instead of the top lane, but I fully expect maybe by lap 8 or something like that, maybe that top lane starts to have a little bit of resurgence, and we might see something coming out of those guys up in the top.
Yeah, we'll wait and see what happens. Lines tend to form and fall apart here. You can take just one person falling out of line, but let's look at the bottom line here. This is Rodrigo Luga, that 79 machine. You see that ride there? It's just got that one car on the outside. See there. Now, Talladega is pretty easy to hold your line, or you think so, Lorenzo, because you have those white lines. They're pretty good traffic indicators of where your car belongs on the track.
Yeah, maybe a 7. Maybe I think this. Can you call it a tri-oval of sorts? Or
yeah, the tri-oval would be the right name.
Yeah, that would be the right name, right? Because you go around the stretch of the tri-oval. Instead of you having 3 lines, you can even have 4 lines, kind of like be merged, because the lanes, they are so big across one another. So you can kind of have like then up to 4 cars, but then again, it would be bumping and running. So it's that dangerous thing, but still good indicators. I think it's one of the few tracks that you know have those big lanes that you can work for and be eased up about it in the entirety of the race.
That's right. You know what's different about Talladega than other tracks? How close we are together. Look at the side of your screen on the left side. Look at that ticker, P24. Only 1.5 seconds back from the leaders. We saw almost a little bit of contact there with Luga and the 12 car on the outside, but 1.5 seconds separates all 30 cars. Lorenzo, that's incredible compared to what we see most weeks.
No, absolutely, and I think that's the fact of we are in like plate racing. Of course, Texas is a little bit different. Bristol, of course, drives a whole lot different. But it's good to see like the communication out of everybody. And I think for the first time in many years, we've seen drivers be patient. You know, we were having a discussion before. Who doesn't want to climb up and down? I think by the fact that everybody just trying to keep within the toe and did not break away prior to the first pit stop, That's where we're seeing drivers be more patient on their current track place than anything else. Now, top line is moving.
Top line is moving this time. We'll wait and see who's going to lead him around. There we go, past the line. We're now starting lap 7 already, and Trent Dinkel back out to the front. Now has himself a good lead here. He is clear to the inside by 2 cars, maybe 3 cars at this point. So he's happy with the top slide, because if he didn't want it, he could pull down and take the other lane. Look at that. There's a great shot of that gap. The Dinkel Bergoli in at 33. That is James O'Brien. Not clear now, but if Dinkel wanted to be on the bottom, he could be. And he's just choosing to stay in that, well, that middle, or in this case, that higher lane.
Yeah, I think for Dinkel, there's no option than being at the back a little bit and try to work with the driver in front of you, because in the front, in the back, you have the number 33 O'Brien, you have your teammate, you have to be patient to see if Daniels or Bergoli are going to come down and try to work that bottom lane with Daniels. So the one thing is not give teammates advantage, and so far you have, I think, private label, Team Hype, and P1, 3 respectively, and P5, P6, something like that, and that's where the danger can loom if you allow them to work together in lanes like this.
Yep, here we are, almost ready to start lap number 10, still side by side, many cars deep. You'll see some small breaks in the lines, but nothing major. For the first time, this might be the biggest gap right here the top lanes had all night, and Dinkel is really leading them around. There's a lot of drivers who do believe the top lane is the faster lane, and right now, Dinkel has proven them right. He's going to lead a 2.5 car lead here over Daniels as we start lap number 10 here at Talladega.
Yeah, but not only that, I'm starting to look into the possibility of maybe, you know, try to bring within someone on that top lane. Dinkel is never going to move down. If I'm Bergoli, I would go for something extra, try to move down the lane, try to work the side draft as he gives a little bump to Dinkel, and see if how Daniels is going to, you know, come in the back end of his back panel and work with him. But here comes the bottom lane starting to move it up again. Because that top line, you know, takes a longer arc for you to do the corner. Does bottom line takes it full advantage.
And what happens there when Bergoli pushes Dinkel out further ahead? Hold on. They lose a little bit of that draft, and then the rest of the field can catch up to him. Look at this beautiful camera shot here. 2x2. You can see it right there in the top of your screen. And that's just how it feels in that car. It is tight racing all night long. You see right now the top lane is still leading.
Yeah, I'm trying to look where near caution happened. I think that was nearly at the back. Well, I want to say maybe Chris Vincent or maybe even Mike Wayne that had a little bit of a 4-wide coming into the tri-oval, going to the line, but they kind of broke off into one lane. As now drivers now thinking about where can I go moving forward as the top lane is working again, and now you can think about, you know, being a bit more aggressive on your track positioning.
A bit more aggressive sometimes is the call. And look at that right there. Bergoli just sticking right to Dinkel. Just one of the best pushers Dinkel could ask for in this moment. So this likely, Renzo, will be a 2 pit stop race if we stay under green. But there's the move to the bottom. That's an incredible move. That move came back from P4. That is, I believe... Yeah, it's Robert Besaw. He said, I want to lead. And there he goes. He's now going to pull that bottom lane around, and hopefully they'll catch back up to Dinkel pretty quickly here.
No, but let's see how the collaboration is going to be, because now what happens is you leave a cost in fourth. You're right behind O'Brien. You kind of push each other. You live Bergoli kind of like the sandwich. Bergoli will have no discussion of, no, stay in the top lane. That is working for me. You can see bottom lane is not working well together. So just take over here, because that's where my gain is. And when decision time comes, maybe I'm in a good spot to, you know, catch them by surprise.
Now, the top lane, some drivers prefer it. They think it's faster. They think it's easier because you don't have to steer as much. The ultimate argument, Lorenzo, is that the bottom lane is safer, because now if a wreck happens, I know I have all that space to my left to avoid a wreck, right? I don't have to try to work around it. I just swing way to the left in the back straight, and hopefully I'm safe.
100%. 100%. So
now that doesn't always work. That doesn't always work, but that's the theory.
Yeah, the theory is normally for you it would be more applied, but for me that is normally applied within NASCAR and even plate racing. That normally doesn't apply. Like,
look at this. You talked about the bottom lane not moving, but now they are. They're going to be almost identical right here at the line with Trent Dinkle. That's going to be Besaw leading that bottom lane around. They was only a half of a tenth of a second, less than a tenth of a second.
Yeah, I was just doing a quick count from over here with my looking at our feed. So that's basically at least 9 lanes together running tightly, closely knit. As now we have more than 9 lanes. We have up to 11 lanes working together, and just trying to share some draft and be patient moving up and down the field.
Already more than halfway through the first run. If we stay green, the pit stops will be somewhere in the 30 lap range of between 30 and 40, depending on how much you're saving gas. So already those conversations might be happening on the radios within those teams. It would be private label team Hype or SGE Esports or whatever team you represent. You might be having those talks either with your teammates or just drivers you trust and say, hey, when are we pitting? Because that's important information to know. You need to have that conversation and not stress yourself out at the last minute.
No, absolutely. And imagine if we go into the circumstance of green flag pit stops, because so far everything is looking, clean and crisp, and we have no indication of yellow flags. But then again, I open up my mouth and the yellow flags didn't come because, well, I'm the emperor of yellow flags. So, but if we continue like this, how do you negotiate going into a green flag caution, a green flag service? Because that's where a lot of things can be decided. A lot of people can, just overshoot the pit lane just because you have to duck in quickly to migrate into the pit lane, and you might cause a mistake on your own right there.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that later and see how they do handle that. Look at the left side of your screen. You can tell how crazy and how fast and how much this track moves every lap right there. Look at all the greens moving up and the reds moving down. Those are positions being traded live on the track as we move yard by yard, feet by feet across this track. You can see it happening here. Man, look at the job that Daniels is doing. He is still stuck to the back bumper at Besaw. And right now, Besaw and Dinkle are trading first place around here. It only officially counts at the line. Let's take a look here. I think it's going to be Dinkle again. But wow, they are right there side by side. And they're just being, I think this is not full force right now, Lorenzo. This is everybody being patient and just kind of testing the waters, if you will. Oh, there it is, the lead.
Yeah, a little bit of changing the lead as Besaw comes across. I'm just trying to see which car moved to the bottom. I think on the previous lap, that might be Christian now that is on the bottom lane right behind what looks to be Park Hilliard. But I need to have that confirmation from his perspective. It would be the 5th car back. Yeah, it is right behind Hilliard.
Oh, look
now
at that.
we can see Besaw. Okay.
Besaw decided he was wanted to try this hop lane, wants to see what it feels like. He pulled right up in front of Dinkle, and now he is now going to lead the lap because Dinkle's going to have to push him around here, and by a good car length or so, Robert Besaw will lead lap 17 at Talladega.
Yeah, but it kind of allowed the bottom line to move in a little bit more, got cleared off, some clean air, drivers bumping each other. Now we can still see the collaboration between Walden. Now, what kind of collaboration now does Dinkle do in this instance? As now he's giving a massive push. Look at that push that Dinkle is doing. Holy smokes.
That is an incredible push right there. They have brought Pergoli on around. Here's Dinkle looking at his point of view. He's trying to stay on the back bumper here. That big smile on his face. He knows he's doing well. Knows he's setting it up. Here comes the big bump right about here.
And one thing about play racing, I think, is...
Look at, he has time to wipe his glasses while doing it, Lorenzo.
At 190-something miles per hour, which is insane to think about. But you know what? I think one of the things that make or break a lot of these guys, and especially plate racing, going to Daytona, Talladega, you can even say Texas of sorts, or on the tracks where you go over 185 to 190 miles per hour, and they are very fast, is how do you negotiate the bump drafting? Not a lot of people know how to do it. That's a art that if you know how to explore it perfectly, you can gain so much time in your competition that it's not easy. You have that time that well, because if you try to go for a bump draft and you just come in way too hot, it can turn somebody around. And trust me, I've done that multiple times. I've done in my A class, B class, and it's not easy. I'll tell you that.
No, it's not easy. We can take a look at that later and see how it works. But right now, and the other thing about the bump draft is worth talking about. We can talk about it now, actually, is when do you want bump drafted, right?
Yeah.
Some drivers I've met say, no, you do never push me in the corners. Do not do it. It's not allowed. It's off limits. Like, it's hard limit.
It's not a written rule.
Right?
It's not a written rule. Yeah.
However, there are some drivers say, listen, push me the whole way around the track. Like, I want you to push, and I know how to handle it. And there could be a difference in drivers. And you have to learn, who's comfortable with what. If you push someone through the corners who's not comfortable with it, it can lead to some very scary moment.
No, yeah, it's just because how the lanes are working. You can see, like, for example, this top line working. You can see there's a little bit of separation for drivers, trying to, just not get behind the other guys, dirty air, so the engine or the oil temperature doesn't, skyrocket in a skyrocketed place. But the thing is, let's just say, going around the corner in a situation like this, you'd be a little bit frightened because, you have a lot of cars behind you that pushes you around, so you catches you off guard. Cars get a little bit loose, so it's not easy. There are some other drivers who are not, just, like you said, bumping right the entire time, and I don't even care. I know how to handle this kind of stuff. So let's see how Bizarre handles this moving forward.
One thing that I've noticed here, since Beisaw has taken over this top lane and become the leader of it, look how much higher they're riding on the track. And see right there, that's what happens is right now they're starting to peak around. It's not because they're trying to want to pass them. It's that if they don't line up perfectly, that draft will sort of suck them ahead. You've seen Dinkle had to get back in line here a couple times because of how high Beisaw rides it. This could lead to an accidental 3 wide.
Yeah,
if they're not careful here. But once again, Beisaw now way to the outside, almost up against the wall. There's a whole lane there. I could park a school bus between these lanes, Lorenzo.
That's the first time I ever heard it. But you're right on that. You're right on that. It's kind of inviting other people. Is that mental game. Just ride high, see who's gonna have the first shot at break into a tree wide, see who's gonna come with him. He's kind of doing no dinkle or wide. Why don't you come on down? Why don't you come on down and try to tree wide? It's now Beisaw comes go and dictates the rhythm on the bottom lane.
Yep, Beisaw back to the bottom. Now the danger in this moment is every time you move up or down, not only are you scrubbing off your own speed, but you're going to start to, possibly affect the momentum of that lane that you're moving into or out of.
Yep. Pretty much. It's just tricky navigation.
Just for the record, we have one driver who is, I believe, already reconnected. That's Landon Mills, having some internet problems tonight. So probably will not be a factor in this race, but you will see him multiple laps down there on the bottom left of your ticker. Well, listen, I was wrong earlier. We're already at lap 23 of 95. I said 95 laps. That's a lot for 90 minutes. I believe if we stay on pace here, Lorenzo, and if we don't get a yellow, I don't want to say it too loud, but if we don't get a yellow, I think we're going to be okay. We could get all 95 laps in, and these guys get to show off their talents here at a super speedway.
Yeah, that is true. Just trying to remember which lap did they come around. I think it's around lap 30.
It'll be around 30 to 33, depending upon how well we're drafting. So we'll wait and see, who's lifting, who's not lifting, who's leading, who's not leading. Could all be factors.
Yeah, absolutely.
But look at this. Look at this. How great is Trent Dinkle? With or without a leader, he has back to the front again. And now that top lane again with Trent Dinkle is looking. But now there's third place, moving out of lane, and that will break the draft. That will slow you down a little bit here. But wow, look at this racing going on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, almost 6 deep here. There's that big pack right there. That's most of your field still racing all together.
Not the entirety of your field, or 80 or 85 to 88% of your field. So it's thing to think about that we still have that many people following close on another, and we even touched upon, going to the first pit service, as now 3 wide. And the very back, I think that was for P20.
At one of the, not the first, but one of the first times it's happened tonight, 3 wide towards the back of the field. Probably does a driver out of lane, has no help, so he'll reconsider and get back in lane. There you go. There's your 95. That's Colton Easterday. That's Mr. Monitors. If we can see that webcam view again, how many monitors were in that shot we saw earlier? There were at least 3 different monitors sitting there next to Colton Easterday.
And you can never have too many. I know Hugo loves his monitors, our race director. So, and our race producer, Race Spotter, you can never have way too many. You think, oh, 1 is too many, 2 is too many. No, what about like having 5, 6, 7? I know one of our producers have about like 8.
Oh yeah, look at that. There's a big widescreen in front of him. There's I think it's a laptop monitor off to the right. Then sort of almost to the right side of his head, that's a TV or a monitor back over. That's at least 3 just in that camera shot. That, talk about a man cave. That's a man cave, Lorenzo Bonder.
And not only that, I got to give him props for the Power Rangers up in the top of, one of the posters. I'm trying to make up which second poster is that. I want to say it might be Pokemon, but I might not be 100% sure. But most importantly, I'm thinking, is that my laptop on his right-hand side of his ultra-wide watching the broadcast as well? If you're wire, Colton, give it a thumbs up.
No, both hands on the wheel. Both hands on the wheel.
Love it.
No, you don't get to be a yellow flag emperor that way. That's not how it works. I think that is the broadcast over there.
It is the broadcast. It is the broadcast. You know why I can see? Because I can see like the highlighted name of RaceSpotTV up at the bottom of the chat.
There you go. Well, I want to say thank you to all the drivers who come in.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Hi, Colton.
I want to say thank you to the Zoom drivers who come in the call every week and provide those webcam shots for us to use live on the broadcast. Here we are, lap 28 of 95, not too far from pit stops. So soon we'll start to see everyone move to the bottom. Earlier you asked, how do we get to the pit stops? Look at this. Now look at that line forming on the bottom. That's Besaw, that's Daniels and others all down there. That probably means drivers are getting close to pitting here. That's why we have that big line on the bottom of this track.
Yeah, you can see Dinkel. That is Dinkel, maybe Brigoli, and also other drivers, losing a lot of contact. You can see one more, the 43 of Chris Hudson coming into the bottom lane. So 3 cars, kind of like left out in the water. As you can see now, one more coming up on top. Is that Acosta that comes up on top to collaborate with their teammates in the private label team? Yeah, it looks like to be. Now this is taking a really good shape moving forward.
So now the conversations begin. Obviously, you'll take a full tank of gas. Do you take right tires? Do you take left tires? Under green, most drivers will not take 4 tires here. Tires do not wear at an incredible rate at Talladega.
Yep.
So in order to save yourself a second or so on pit road, you're only going to take 2 tires. There's always a debate about which ones, but 2 tires under green is always the correct call.
Yeah, I think I would say right tires only.
Yeah, most drivers do right sides, and some guys will go right the first time, left the second time, or vice versa. So there's your top lane. That's still Trent Dinkel leading the outside lane. As Lorenzo said, there's Abner, Acosta, and other teammates in the background of that top lane. No pitting calls yet. We're hearing over the radios, but we know they're coming soon. But man, look at Daniels pushing Besaw. Oh no, now look at Daniels getting pushed. That is not safe. You do not push the pusher. That will lift that second car off the ground. Thank you for backing off of that, whoever that was. That would have been... Yeah, that would have been Waldo Walden. Thank you for backing off of that. That is not safe. That was a scary moment.
Yeah, I think he kind of backed off with if he has a spotter or something like that, I probably told him, just lift off, you're pushing, Daniel's way too much. That can be a little bit dangerous because you don't see the other guy pushing. The gaps are so close to one another on your relative, and it's kind of hard for you to, glance at your relative, glance back, look back at the track and things like that. So that's why it's kind of tricky for you to, navigate with things like that. As now second lane at the very top, forming again about 6 cars, and Dingo not out of this. I gotta give him props. Everybody at the private label team are doing a phenomenal job pushing each other.
You saw it there in the broadcast, but we saw it live. There was a bit of a wiggle there from that second place car of Daniels, and when you're going to start to wiggle and back and forth and you're sawing across that bumper, That can be bad. He got it worked out, though, but that was a tight moment right there. And now they're almost back lane to lane, side by side, door to door again. And this time it will be Dinkle. Leading right now, Dinkle pulls to the bottom.
Yeah, is Dinkle working on coming to the pit lane? But he led most of that top lane on his own, so I wouldn't be surprised if the private label team Hype comes into this lap of the pit lane and we have our start. Our pit lane order, a little bit of a push from Bizon as we look in the rear panel of the number 9 driver from the private label team Hype.
That's right. After the pit stops, we're going to talk about those white ribbons and what they mean. They're an honor to one of the fellow drivers here of the Precision Racing League. So we'll focus on those after the pit stops. We'll wait for those to start here. But you're right, with Dinkle pulling down, now I'm more inclined to believe that they're not too far from happening, because Dinkle has been comfortable in the top lane this whole race long. Yeah,
but also can indicate, I'm coming down, because right now there's a little bit of a separation. Daniel's coming up on top. He was on the bottom the entire time. Might be comfortable, try to lead that top lane and see what is going to lead him at the end of things. And now having Bergoli do the job of pushing him instead of Bizon pushing him on the previous time. So let's see how this is going to go.
Here they start to come. Walden has made it known back from P4. It is the third car at the bottom that he will be pitting. So here comes pit stops this time, but I expect Walden to pull down. Likely pull all the way to the inside here. No, he's going to take the outside lane. Big swarm of cars, led by Bizon, I believe. And all get down to speed. Everyone's going to try to navigate pit road. They'll try to get single file as much as possible. You get down there to pit road speed, get in their pit boxes. Here's the line that was left. Now, the good news about this lane right here, Lorenzo, is they were already in a line, so they're going to gain speed here. They didn't have to fight each other. They were already together when those cars broke off the track.
No, absolutely. That is really good awareness out of everybody. Some drivers coming out on top of each other. 2 tires from what it looks for Bizon. I think he's going to be leading this group. Again, coming out of the pit lane. As now I think the second batch of the drivers are going to come. You can see Dinkle, Daniels, Bergoli, everybody coming in now for their stops.
Yep, Dinkle said he would get all the way to the inside wall, and that he did. And they're all slowed down. No black flags I'm being told over my ears so far. So all is good here at Talladega. First round of green flag pit stops are, in progress, but basically done here. And everything is good.
No.
Everyone.
Is that Acosta making a mistake on his pit lane?
And maybe we'd have to go back and take a look. Can't confirm. No black flags so far, as long as everyone gets off pit road safely. Then we're all going to merge back together. That's the lead right there on the bottom right of your screen. There they come, almost round to the start-finish line. And here comes that big herd of cars off at pit road. Let's see where they merge.
At the very back, Bizon.
With that speed difference, Bizon and that small group will catch up pretty quickly here. But I believe that Joshua Daniels and that group got a much better run off of pit road, and they're going to be in the lead here by it looks to be a good amount. There's Bizon, like 4 or 5, maybe 8 car lengths back.
Yeah, from what I look, 1.3 seconds separate both this group, but I think they're going to be pushing each other because the Abner Acosta's gap's about 0.8 of a second. It might allow Bizon to come closer. You just have to be patient and work with him. So we might still have a really big train of cars. Single file for the time being, but what a job that Daniels has done coming into the pit lane and coming out of the pit lane. Only left size only for the number 77 and come out on top of the both private label team Hype drivers and Trent Dinkle and James O'Brien. Here we go.
Yep, here comes Robert Bizon on the outside. As you said, those cars on the inside will take about another half a lap to get fully up to speed here. So Bizon will have a slight speed advantage, but man, there's that line right there. And here they all come, that big lane on the outside. Let's watch the bottom right of your screen. That's from Bizon's hood. Gonna ride that middle lane here. Let's take a look at the difference. Last time by, Bizon was 0.7 of a second back in the leader. As they start to work through the tri-oval, we're going to take a look and we're going to see just how far back he is this time. And it's going to be about the same, I believe, actually. There's your leader crossing. There's Besaw, and that's now going to be, that's cut in half, 0.3 of a second. So they've cut that lead in half there in the area of that one lap.
Yeah, but I don't think you can still count them out just yet, because you can see there's a higher lane of cars coming out of forming at the back. I think he's just collaborating with each other. 6 cars up in the front, collaborating bottom lane. I think the only thing I would do if I'm Besaw, I would have worked closer, you know, work closely to the side draft of the bottom lane and try to come closer and closer. You know, do not leave up the chance that bottom lane working with each other. Look at number 42 of Acosta. Acosta from the back to the front. Now B7 pouring, as you can see, Besaw lifting off the gas and making a big line of cars now all singular.
That's right. So now that we're past the pit stops, we're at 37, working lap 37 of this race. If we could take a look at some of these cars, there's something I want to talk about here. If we could look at the front of Robert Besaw, that's a great example with that white ribbon. You see it there on the right of your screen. One of our own PRL members, CM Pennington, has been fighting a battle with cancer, and the drivers tonight across PRL have decided to get together. There's white ribbons. There's his name on quarter panels. There's his name on the roof of some cars on the top up near the numbers, I believe. This group is doing all they can to show support. We know, CM, you've not been able to race this season. I've not known you that long. I've only been doing the league for a season or so, but man, I wish you the best, and I hope you can come back and race with us. So the drivers of the Precision Racing, you'll see it all night long across these cars, supporting one of their own.
No, that is really good, man, and you can see the support. You know, everybody, competitors to one another, but most importantly, they got to keep this friendly. Everybody kind of knows each other. This is one big community, and everybody supporting each other just shows that the strength in the community, the strength in numbers. You know, you're never fighting alone. This kind of a fight, I know this. My mom actually had cancer like back in 2014. She was never alone in the fight. So the same thing that people got to do in this time of need, provide the strength necessary to fight and get through the hard things, the best way possible.
Yeah, you see it there on I see it on Besaw. You see it on Luke Christian. I see it on Chris Hudson's car back there at the top of your screen now, and many others. You use the word community. I would use the word family. At times, we're going to fight. We're going to argue. We're going to battle. We're going to beat. We're going to bang. But at the end of the day, this is a family. That's what we do. We come here to have fun. We get the privilege and honor of either racing or broadcasting, and sometimes we take that for granted. But CM Pennington, I miss you.
Yeah, same, buddy.
All right, well, let's get back to it here. Robert Besaw now is trying to move that lane and now move it up, and he has. He has taken Lou Christensen and others with him, and they're going to try again here to make that pass and see if they can get up here to the front of this line.
Yeah, so far it's working. So everybody's working with each other down the line. As now you can see Besaw being closer to the side panel of the cars, and now going through the 52 of Federico Wiesenhalter. So that is good awareness. I just want to see how that is going to be worked on the back stretch. Like I said before, he cannot allow to be far from him. He needs to be close to the side panel. You can see nearly having contact with James O'Brien, but now they're all close to each other.
All close to each other, indeed. And you're right. They're trying to make that art of side drafting. And if you don't know what it is, it's basically the art of getting close to someone else's back fender, and you're not trying to speed yourself up. You're trying to take the air off of them and slow them down. The illusion is that you're going faster, but in fact, you're not. Oh, hold on. We got a caution. We have a caution on the track. It's in the back of the field. This is going to be Callahan, Tristan Callahan. And Eric Papineau, I believe, is going to be involved. There is that car turned around, possibly turtled or beached or... Nope, never mind. It's going to get moving.
I thought it was stuck. Not looking healthy.
Is not looking healthy is a good way to describe it. So we'll wait and find our replay here, and we'll walk you through it once we find it on the RaceSpot replay machine. But for the first time tonight, caution is out here at Talladega.
And this might be big, you know, for the instead of being a lap-based race, we could be creeping into the time-based race than anything else. They would be very close to each other, even though they're doing like what kind of laps do you do around here nowadays? 46, 47 seconds -ish?
Yeah, we'd have to take a look and see what they were doing, but doing great lap times. Looks right around the 48s, 49s is what they're going to do here. This can be a replay, I believe. Let's take a look at it. That's the caution car in the middle, and just going to get squeezed. A little push in the pusher. I told you earlier, Lorenzo, we can't do that, and that's what happened, and he got turned around.
Ow.
Oh, man, big wreck at the top.
You got him over right there.
I don't know who that was, but man, that was out of nowhere and sudden. But I know that was Eric Papineau who got in the back of Callahan. He apologized and said it checked up kind of fast on him, but that's what happens when you push the pusher at Talladega. Well, pit road is open. We've had some people come down and some people not come down. So this is going to be kind of interesting here because you're not going to make it from... Okay, you're not going to make it from gas on here when the pit road opens and you pit. But what could happen is that you could set yourself up for an easier pit stop if we get one under green.
Yeah, you can see basically half the grid is pitting, and there's a busy lane right there. And I think one of the drivers, I'm just wondering who that was. Might be Gamble, maybe, that missed his box. But that got really busy really fast. Yeah, it looks like Gimbal has a meatball and probably having a little bit of a struggle here, Derek. And it's only top 5, and basically of the top 5 3 drivers from the private label team hype haven't pitted, except and also including Joshua Daniels and Federico Wiesenhalder. So the only drivers who just decided to stay closer, and maybe if they come to the pit lane this lap, but that wouldn't be the best choice for them if they do decide to do that.
No, they're committed to where they are now. What they're going to hope for basically is either there's a bunch of cautions and that basically they earn the fuel mileage they need to stay out, or they're going to accept the fact that we all have to pit again. No one's done pitting. We're just going to have to do it, better than those guys do. But that's where we stand. Welcome in lap 43 of 95 here on the PRL Cup Series here live on RaceSpotTV. Derek Watson, along with Lorenzo Bonder. I want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight and enjoying this race with us. You see our names there. You see our Twitter handles down there below us. Or if you're Lorenzo, you know what, Lorenzo? You didn't do anything this time. But yesterday, we didn't call a race together. We called a race back-to-back here on RaceSpot for the IVRA League. And as you were leaving at the 2-hour mark...
Oh, I'm vindicated, mate.
The caution came out. You left myself and Joey Tebben with a caution to handle, and you said, peace. I'm out of here.
Oh, that's why I felt vindicated. The entirety of the race where you are in the track that usually can provide some yellow flags, have nothing like that. And you think, oh, this is going to be a hassle. They're going to basically commentate like 20 laps to go or something like it. Right. Not like that, my friend. We got the yellow flag and everything just decided to turn on its head. And I'm like, okay, now I feel good about myself. I still have my crown as the yellow flag emperor. Yeah, it was a great race yesterday here on RaceSpot. Of course, all week long on RaceSpot, Sunday through Thursday. You can catch a lot of PRL action. Tonight, of course, it's a Cup Series. Tomorrow night will be LMP3s and GT4s, and then we're going to have the LMP2s and the LMDHs go side by side. Tuesday night is GT3 night. Wednesday night is the Grand Nationals and the trucks racing. And then Thursday night, we're going to kick off or end off the week, myself and Joe Peak. We're going to have the F3s and the F4s, the Formula Ds and the Formula Cs here live on RaceSpot. Well, the caution lights are out. The race lights on the pace car are also out. That means we're going green, Lorenzo. This is only our second time tonight that we're going to have a restart side by side here. Absolutely, and I'm looking forward to see now this kind of a break of teams here. I think I'm seeing Dinkel on the top lane with Daniels on the bottom lane, and I'm just trying to find the private label team private label team hype drivers kind of like be separated a little bit, so how they will again negotiate under these different circumstances. They are not close to one another.
That is a question to ask: is how much do teammates matter right now? Do you worry about finding a teammate, or do you just go and see if they find you? Race controls reminding the field, unlike the start, that the leader controls this start. That means Joshua Daniels will determine when we go green. The pace car is down. Have Joshua Daniels. Let's go through the top 5 real quick. Daniels, Dinkle, James O'Brien, Weisenholder, Acosta, and Bergoli. That's your top 3 lanes right there. And just any moment now, Josh Daniels is going to press on the loud pedal. And we're waiting for it. So is the field. And green flag is out here at Talladega.
Yeah, basically on the green flag, he goes on the gas, and you can see now Dinkle coming into the inside. So he's going to be closer to his teammate and James O'Brien, and now the private label team high train is formed. On the top lane, you're going to see who trying to scramble together, just trying to which car look like that to be, and having that top lane figuring themselves out.
Wow, look at that. There's a big gap back there. Maybe a couple drivers weren't ready for the start and just kind of missed pressing the gas pedal, because it has caused a big difference here. Look at drivers abandoning the top line like a sinking ship here. Yep. Only a couple drivers left up there. Now, if they're patient, they'll make it work. But patience will be your key word.
Yeah, but that's a master work, I think, from Dinkle. You know, catch Weisenholder off guard, you know, and don't get the comfortable way of having the number 52, you know, leading or following the leader in this time. So they have to figure themselves out as now they come all together across one more time. Lap 46 out of 95. Now top lane a little bit shrunken from last time. How do they negotiate with this? Having much lesser cars in the top lane now. Just maybe looking into it. 7 lanes across.
Look at that. The beauty of Talladega is, look at that. Any moment, that lane can change. The number of drivers from bottom to top to bottom, somewhere in the middle, anywhere can change, and they did. And now that top lane will move, and they're going to have a great movement here. That's going to be Federico Weisenholder leading that top lane. So he's going to get a push here from a couple drivers. They'll see if they can get him up to the top here. But this time by, Joshua Daniels will lead lap 46.
Yeah, but if I'm the Hispanic American driver, I could come closer to the SART driver. I think he needs to come a little bit closer when they migrate into the backstretch and use the side drive like he's probably using right now. You know, just come down. You can see it costing Daniels a little bit of the class of its own. Again, it's going to bring the private label team high drivers closer. But riding that side drive can work a little bit of, you know, maybe slow down the action out of the PLTH drivers, and who knows, work themselves together into something.
Yep. Speaking of Abner Acosta, here he is riding the bottom lane, a few cars back from the lead, just riding around, just waiting for the moment to see when he can make something happen here. He just knows that maybe lap 47 or 48 isn't the time to get too aggressive here. But look at that up front. You can see it from the top of your screen. Now we can see it right there. That top lane has caught up, and Weisenholder is about to take the lead from Joshua Daniels. Oh, wait a minute. We got one to the inside, 2 to the inside. No caution. We were going to say green. Had a couple drivers get off there, probably from a bad bump draft. We'll have to wait and see. We say green. No call from race control. Everyone's under the line, and everyone is safe. So we'll say racing here at Talladega. Scary moment there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just going to mention how that was not a yellow flag. That was a little bit surprising to me.
Yeah, race control is going to determine if all the cars wreck below that line. They're off the racing service. They're not a danger to the drivers. So, and there's no wrecks there, I don't think. It was only just drivers kind of sideways and whatnot. But I didn't see a single damaged car. So race control wants to let this go green as much as possible, just like the fans do. And that's what's going to happen. But that's how quickly it happens. I was mid-sentence on a point, and chaos broke out. Now look at that gap here from this pack right here. That's 2, 3, 4. That's probably top 15 or 16 drivers back to the next car back there trying to catch this draft.
Yeah, I'm just trying to read the lanes. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think that is about 10, 9 or 8 lanes working together, you know, just from top to bottom. So it's a little bit interesting. 3, 4, that is 8, 10 lanes total are working against each other. So top 20 is so close to one another so far.
The first car who's leading that second group is Eric Papineau on the 37. Here's what happened. Let's take a look at it. And saw the 3 check up, the 2 check. Wow, what a save. That's Park Hilliard in the 2 car. This guy that saved there and held onto it. That deserves an award for keeping that car under control.
Yeah, that's really, really well done by the Hilliard, and also B-Saw, keeping his lane. That was really good, but you can now see third lane being created with Brigoli. Brigoli, I think just, I'm not going to take this one and keep pushing. He might give the room to someone else, but no, here we go, 3 wide.
Oh, there it is for the first time tonight. And now it's not even 3 wide. Look, they just kind of decided top or bottom. No one wants to be that middle. That middle is what we call the sucker hole, Lorenzo. That means that when you get in there, the draft just sort of pushes you backwards and it sort of bullies you around and everything. So no one wants to be there, but yeah, it split apart quickly.
And that is really well done. Kind of caught him off guard. Now you can see, I think that is Easter Day that is leading the top of the of the pack, as now he's going to get pushed across. Now that is going to be Wiesenhalter, but nearly issues at the top lane that are kind of broken off and could have caused the yellow flag.
Yeah, and one issue that could cause it in the future, when Federico moves up there, he has to be more decisive. You cannot lollygag your way to the top of the lane or bottom of the lane. You have to be decisive at Talladega. If you make a lane change, you have to make the lane change. When you lollygag, that's how you check up everybody.
No, absolutely, 100%. And actually leading that top lane was actually Regan Chandler. Then Colton. Colton is at the bottom. Regan is at the top. So what it looked like to be broken off. Now you can see the SART driver, coming back on top, riding that side draft out of looked like to be Abner Acosta. Yeah, 100%. You can see the, be more aggressive the top lane, but so far good resistance from the bottom lane to fend them off.
So to come around here to finish lap 52, let's take a look. As Joshua Daniels in first, Dinko in second, O'Brien third, Abner Acosta in fourth. Those are the easy 4 to settle. Look at that B-Saw, by the way, all the way back up to P5 up in there in that 3 car. And you got Wiesenhalter, Easter Day, Reagan Chandler. We've not talked about him tonight at all. Up there in P8. And then Rodrigo Luga and Lou Christian will round out your top 10 here at Talladega.
Yeah, but it's like, I think that's the most faked. Like, it's weird for me to say fake top 10 because it's always moving up and down.
Right, it's very dynamic. You never know. Second by second, it can change, and it does. Look at the top right of your, or excuse me, top left of your screen. Look at it moving. There's people up and down. The green and the red. That means they're going up and down on the spots. It's never stable. It's not like a 1.5 mile track where, it's hard to pass. You can pass here in an instant with a good run. Let's ride on board here. This will be Rodrigo Luga there on the inside. Listen to this engine. Let's sit back and listen to this engine for a second and listen to let's see if he's fuel saving or if he's going hard the whole way. Well, let me tell you what, Lorenzo Bonder, that is team no lift right there. There was no lifting, no gas saving, no nothing. He is
3 wide again
the whole way.
And now you can see 3 wide in front of him. I think that's the number 42 of Acosta now, being the lone man in the middle, trying to follow closer to Regan Chandler, but I think he's going to lose some ground and might have to duck into one of the lanes. I would say go bottom.
That car right there you see in the middle, that red and yellow, that's Jose Acosta. Last week's winner at Texas, did really well. Could still do well here at Talladega. He's not out of it, but yeah, he's going to have to pull down in line here. He was trying to suck that draft, as you said, but just couldn't hold on to it.
Yeah, and one thing about, like we were seeing with Logan, I think that's maybe no lift, maybe through the corners, but definitely he's lifting on the straights. Has now 3 wide once again on Regan. You can see now Wiesenhalter kind of catching that top lane, trying to ride the best he can, and Regan might come down into the bottom lane and see how the things work out.
Oh, there's Federico.
Not working.
Yeah, Regan Chandler had to decide that maybe he just needed to be out of that moment, that he wasn't comfortable, so he fell to the back of that bottom lane and just pulled in and wants to see what he can get out of it. Looking now, here we are. This is something new. We're single file, Lorenzo. We are 1, 2, probably 10 cars deep in that single file lane, and then we find the high line.
Yeah, and they're still trying. I got to give him props. Now it's from what looks to be Luke Christian, but that is now going to be led by Jose Acosta. One more car up in the top lane. Just wondering who that was. Maybe Nathan Deering or Chris Vincent now on that top lane.
Yeah, that's going to be Nathan Deering, who's now pulled up. He's now leading the top lane. Now you see Jose Acosta got shuffled all the way to the top here by himself. That's Pat Harvey in the middle of that 3 wide. And now they're going to try to make a run here. And man, that's how quick you get shuffled out. I'm sure Acosta never saw it coming. It just sort of happened to him. Well, here we come around here out of turns 1 and 2 here. We're in the middle of lap 57 here at Talladega Superspeedway. We're about 36 minutes left in this race, so we will come close on time or laps. I don't have an estimate yet, but it's going to be close. I guarantee you, if there is another caution, that will clearly put us to time instead of laps.
Yeah, what we're getting maybe from race control is a potential 7-minute buffer between the race in terms of laps to what it's going to be in terms of, you know,
Laps versus time, right?
Yeah, so it is getting close. I would say maybe a yellow flag would turn this into a time-based race than anything.
Yeah, that almost feels definite. You see this middle lane now. It is the middle lane because Jose Acosta has 1 car on the outside. They need 1 or 2 people to pull up here and see if maybe they can help them. Maybe Pat Harvey wants to help or someone else in that middle lane. But right now, Acosta just needs to wait for that entry. He's almost there, but nope, he's going to get it blocked off there. So it's just the 42 and the 43, ironically. That's Chris Hudson right behind him. They're going to have to try to fall in line here and catch that draft.
And what we're getting is like last caution shaved down from 11 minutes to 4 in terms of the buffer. So 4 minutes total in terms of yellow flag time, as we see 3 wide up in the back, like up around P15 to 18. That's Jose Acosta losing position around P18, P14 to 15. So still not a lot of gravel collaboration. So it's going to be like a big one, 5 wide, nearly a big crash.
Yeah, that's it. The 30. Oh, big wreck. Big wreck in 3. Pat Harvey's involved. Nathan Deering and others. There's Jose Acosta. And that is what we're talking about. That probably will put us down to
yellow
time
flag
here. Yellow flag is out here at Talladega. A lot of conversation.
Go ahead.
There's a lot of conversation about what's happening here, what happened here. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I was going to mention this now kind of makes everybody coming into the pit lane slightly safe on the fuel.
This would be very close on fuel. Yep. This would be very. Of course, there is no overtime here, and the Precision Racing League, so 95 laps is the most we can go. So I would agree. This is the pit stop right here. But let's take a look here. We're going to wait and see for the replay machine to load up and see what happened. But right now it's going to be Daniels, Dinkle, and O'Brien, your top 3. Here's the wreck, Lorenzo. Let's watch it. It's going to be in the middle here. That's going to be just ahead of that replay. Something that looks like someone checked up there. Maybe Easter Day? I'm not sure. And then that caused a wreck here in the back.
Yeah, it looked like to be Deary who was the catalyst of that first crash and caused everything else, kind of like an accordion and domino effect. Right after that, I was seeing like 2 cars going to the apron. Now instead of 2 becomes 1, 1 becomes 0, and then right after that is a crash. So it's quite interesting as we're going to see the entirety of this grid coming to the pit lane. Now, because it is a yellow flag and something like it, do you go for 4?
I would take 4 tires. Yep, because you want to sit here for every 10th of a second to make sure that you get all the gas you want here. So why not take 4 tires? It's not the big race off a pit road. You're not as concerned. So we'll wait and see here. Now you see the leaders coming around. That's Joshua Daniels, Trent Dinkle, and others on back. You can watch the cars. There you see the Daniels up for the RTV right. That's his left. Left first means you're probably only doing 2 tires in that car.
Okay. Slow out for Acosta.
Yeah, it's slow for not slow for. I mean, it's slow for some, but those times do not indicate 4 tires for anybody. It's about 13 seconds to put 4 tires on, Lorenzo.
Yeah, but not only that, really looking for like some of the pit stop times. Well,
that's going to be the difference between probably the drivers who pitted under the last caution and the ones who didn't.
True.
The ones who need more or less gas. Let's watch this wreck one more time here.
Oh, Deering.
Oh, you're right. It was Deering. He just sort of got in there and sort of clobbered Easter Day. And then when he tried to pull back on track, it happened again in front of him. That's Jose Acosta. Those are 2 separate wrecks that I don't think were connected together.
No, they were like indirectly connected. It is like the fact that everybody was coming back onto the track, I think, caused a little bit of confusion within the lanes themselves, and just they had to scramble very fast on what they were going to do. And because of it, I think that's what caused Acosta to be spun around and bring the other cars with him.
Well, let's go and take a look, and let's set the field here for you. Now the pit stops are over. We'll wait for them to come around and one more time to see if anyone's going to pit a second time. That's something that may happen for drivers in the back, by the way, Lorenzo. If you think that gas would be tight here, if you're in the back of the field, you may want to come in again and top off the fuel, and that may make the difference on how much gas you think you have left at the end of this race.
Yeah. Now my only question is, like, I'm really looking forward to see how Benny is going to turn that light off or no when he crosses the line, because he flickers off. We go green on 62. That is 33 laps. That is nearly the full length some of these drivers were doing. So people will do excessive saving. Here we go. Benny, what are you going to tell me?
Only person I saw that pit pro was Christian Callan.
Okay. 32 laps. If we go green.
Lights are off on the pace car. Only car I see on pit road is Tristan Callahan. So, single car taker. So let's go and set the top of the field for you. New leader, Rodrigo Luga, up in P1. Chris Vinson is back in P2. He'll be on the outside of row 1. Joshua Daniels and Trent Dinkle will be in row 2. Easter Day and Paul Bergoli back there in row 3, P5, P6. Then Regan Chandler, Waldo Walden, Mike Witt, Abner Acosta, James O'Brien, and Robert Besaw Jr. That's your top 12. So there's some new drivers up here due to pit strategies.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find. I think Vincent started at the back, nearly at the back. I know Easter Day started at the very back, and I think right about P25, P26. And like Mike Witt as well, coming all the way from the back to the front. So this is going to be interesting. Some drivers that we haven't been heavily featured within the top 10 or even top 5 now into these top 5 standing, and they're going to be in lanes trying to work together to try to have the advantage on guys that 100% will try to work closely to, making sure that bottom lane is still the fastest lane overall.
As a reminder, the leader does control the restarts here in the Precision Racing League. Quick note about this restart here. Up that one car up there in the top lane, he is the only driver in the session, Lorenzo, who has a live human spotter. Everyone else is going to rely on the iRacing spotters or other third-party software. But Chris Vinson has a friend with him who is spotting for him live. That could be a big benefit here on the start. Let's find out. Barney the Flagman has the flag. Look at that big gap there. You know what, Lorenzo? We're not real broadcasters if we don't talk about how at Daytona, the start-finish line would be right about here. But no, my friend, not at Talladega. At Talladega, it's all the way out here where Barney the Flagman is.
And so I think I kind of like that of sorts.
First time tonight, Rodrigo Luga is going to lead him around. Green flag is out here at Talladega.
A little bit of a late start, like early to late push, and against the yellow flag goes across the line. Does Vincent gets across Luga as he goes over the line? Because I cannot be sure if he can overtake the leader prior to the.
Well, he's good.
Line.
According to the rules, as long as he is on the gas, he'll be okay. No word from race control. But that's the benefit of having a live spotter, is that spotter can tell you when they're going. You're not relying on your eyesight or a bad viewpoint off the pillars. But man, look at that. And he is just live and in color, the front of the field by 2 car lengths.
Jose Acosta again on that outside line from what it looks like, trying to work on 3 wide, and now you can see Dinko and Vincent do their best to try to break away as best as they can on the bottom lane. Now,
Dinko has thought the best of it. Dinko has pulled to the outside. Now he's ahead for again tonight. Your side, Trent Dinko leading, and he will not pull to the bottom. I don't think he'll stay to the outside. That seems to be where he's most comfortable.
No, absolutely. And now we're seeing like a very similar look in terms of Bergoli, pushing Dinkel, and everybody from the private label team high right behind him on the top lane as bottom lane just plummets.
Lots of drivers feel like they have no help right now, and the lines will start to form back up again here. Man, I was wrong, though. Dinkel to the inside.
Yep. I think that was a long time coming to see Dinkel come to the inside.
So Dinkel now is going to lead Paul Bergoli. Bergoli's been a big help to Dinkel throughout the night. Wrecking. We're not seeing the yellow yet, but there it is. That would definitely put us on time here. That wreck is with Chris Hudson and others. That's back right around P19. And we are under caution again at lap 65.
Again.
And Nathan Deering, as you said, involved again. We'll have to wait and see what happened there before we make any judgments. But you can see the damage there a little bit to the front of the car. And Chris Hudson is pulling it down off the track, not even trying to get up there. That car must be hurt.
Yep. If it wasn't hurt on the first crash, he's definitely hurt now.
Oh. Hard bump draft. Remember we talked earlier in the show about bump drafts in the corners, and I think that might have been your culprit. I'd have to see it again, but that looked like a bad bump in the corner sending him up the hill.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate right there, but that's just like the nature of hard racing at the back. You try to do your best to try to catch up to the guys in front of you, and unfortunately that wasn't the case right there for them drivers. So.
Well, Dinkel was your leader as of the time of caution, so he will lead us around here. But Paul Bergoli in second, Abner Acosta up to third. That may have been the highest he's been all night so far. James O'Brien in fourth, and then Jose Acosta, involved in that earlier wreck. He's back to P5.
Oh, yeah. What about... it's like Jose Acosta's race has been like the life of going up and down has been a roller coaster.
It really has. And pit road's open here. We got a couple of takers. Oh, there's that wreck again. I'm sorry, up in the top right of your screen. Just like a bump draft in the back quarter panel. And I see two drivers who have taken pit road. That's going to be Maverick Davis. That's the biggest one. Eric Papano's the other one who I saw down pit road. So right now, you never know when gas could be a factor. Fuel mileage races are a thing. But now we should probably move that ticker up in the top left. Let's move it to time, because now time is a factor. Now time is the ultimate determinant with 30-ish laps to go, a little less than 30. I can't imagine we put all them in. So now it's a matter of time. So in a moment, we'll see the timer left in the session. That'll be the ultimate factor for this race.
Yeah, and I think we're up to that part of the race now. Caution breeds more cautions, I think. And now I'm sitting here wondering, now that we are going to be within time-based racing, how do you go and approach the fact that you are on time-based racing? How does... I'm trying to find the better words. How aggressive do you go out of the gates trying to move in down lanes?
Well, from your experience, Lorenzo, it'd be no different than racing a 24 hours of Spa or a Daytona. or a Nürburgring. Now you know the clock is ticking, right? Now you know that's what we're in play. So you can put it up on a black box on your screen and you can look at it and see, you know, how it's ticking down. It's just like road racing. When there's not enough time to take one more lap, Barney the flag man will put the white flag out, and then we're going to have a race. So all you do is you just cut some laps off. You know, you just pretend, hey, we're probably going to do, you know, whatever it is, 10 less laps or 8 less laps, and you just go for it. And you sort of make it happen here. But right now, Trent Dinkle, at least for the first time under caution, is going to lead this field around here. Probably this time by the lights will go off on the pace car. And we'll see how it happens. Or if it happens, I should say, pardon me. And yep, there it is. Lights are off, Lorenzo. So now, more chaos, right?
Yeah, like, I'm just wondering, I'm just trying to catch up the entirety of the field right here. Like, for example, the likes of for Federico and everybody behind him, like Yesterday and Acosta and things like that. Acosta is a little bit to the front, Jose Acosta, but like Regan Chandler and such. I think you might have to drive with a little bit more desperation. You know, still stay collected and calm. But you know this is time based, so you might have to, you know, when time comes, like 15 minutes remaining, when the things are gonna pick up, that you might have to, start moving and pray. As Dinkle is
just calm, just cool, just relaxing for a second, keeping himself under under cool here. By the way, new name in the top 10, Jay McDonald is up to P9, by the way. Look at this, how calm he was right there. Well, what we're going to do in this restart, Lorenzo's a little different. We're going to let the sights and sounds of Talladega immerse you. We're going to go RaceSpot Fan Immersion, and we're going to take a lap here, and we're going to let it happen. We're going to have some in-car cameras. We're going to sit back for a second and let it all take over and let you experience it. So the pace car is going to come around here.
Right on.
So for the first time tonight, Trent Dinkle will be the car in control. He will lead us back around to the green flag here at Talladega. Little less than 22 minutes on the clock. Who will win it? Nobody knows. That's the fun of Talladega. It could be Dinkle. It could be anyone who's still on the track. Well, here we go. Any moment now, Barney the flagman will drop the green flag. Green flag is out. Let's do RaceSpot Fan Immersion here at Talladega. There you have it. 2 laps around the Talladega Super Speedway. Full fan immersion. The engines, the roaring, the passing, the bumping. You saw the other ends of what I saw. Look at that. Abner and Jose Acosta 2 and 3.
No, absolutely, a really good side between them. I'm just trying to pick up. I think it's a little bit of a switchback to what we saw in Texas, right?
Well, we saw these guys put Corey Instinct in the middle of an Acosta sandwich this week. Instinct is on vacation and missing, but they're right here. Now they want to put Trent Dinkel in an Acosta sandwich.
No, absolutely. Like what I'm seeing so far, but that top lane is moving. So Biza, I think, that put that top lane to work once again and is looking really healthy so far. So let's keep on racing. Let's keep on that grind and look. Unlike what I'm seeing so far, let them cook.
Cooking they are. They're cooking the tires. They're cooking the motors. They're cooking everything as they're trying to get to the front here with a little less than 19 minutes left here. Now you see both lanes basically identical. And you'll see here, that's Besaw Jr. up in the front again. We've seen him a few times tonight, that white ribbon on the front of his car. And yeah, some other cars, you'll see the Ford Ever or the 44 Ever. Lots of drivers, of course, supporting CM Pennington tonight and showing some love, and I hope you're watching along, CM. It's a pleasure if you are. So right now Besaw is going to lead this lap, and that's going to put Dinkel and the others back there. Oh man, Acosta, Jose almost all over the back end of Abner and not a very safe way.
Yep. Now top lane nearly kind of like the speeding places and things like that, but that is not the case. But can get very dangerous. I think that who's up in the top? Is that Callahan that moved up to P4? Yeah, that's actually Loga, who kind of made things a little bit more slicey and dicey through the top lane right there.
Yep, Tristan Callahan up there as well. He's back in P10, so, and now back up to P5 as we look at the live standings here in the top left of your
Callahan
screen.
leading bottom lane.
Yep, Callahan now to the bottom. Look at that top lane, though, trying to carry that momentum. That's going to be Robert Besaw Jr., Paul Bergoli, Waldo Walden, and Rodrigo Luga as the top 4 cars on the top lane of the screen.
Well, I don't like that top lane one bit. They're moving way too much for my liking.
Yep, this is Tristan Callahan. That's the driver who's leading the bottom lane. Look at it, wearing the VR headset. Got the nice race sponsor behind him. And that beautiful purple and blue machine. And look at the gap he's making here, Lorenzo. He's catching up here on the bottom lane.
No, it is. Let's see if Daniels is going to push him right behind him. Here he comes. Yep, bump drafting on the bottom lane, and definitely going to put Callahan in a really good spot within that top 5, maybe going top 4 and continue for Logan as they come into one more lap. And 16 minutes to go. Still a long time to decide things, but it's a good race. It's a really good race, and just keep looking forward to see if this is going to keep green all the way.
And the one thing that sticks in my head that I can recall is I recall saying to you that Tristan Callahan was the only car who pitted for gas on the last pit stop. That means he should feel comfortable laying on the gas pedal here and leading this bottom lane. He should not have, oh, hold on, we got to lap the car here. Hopefully he stays all the way to the top here. And all is good, but this should mean Callahan is comfortable leading, that he's going to stay on the gas pedal and not have any concerns about fuel mileage as this race wears on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the other drivers might not be over concerned with given the fact this is now a time-based race than anything else, but it's like just trying to cut it close or something like it. You know, still a lot of things to be decided on, but you know, bottom lane is looking very healthy so far, and like you said, Callahan leading the charge. I think that was the first time we see him featured within like top 3 in the season.
Yeah, Callahan's a driver who sort of sneaks in and out of the top 10, but so there's no sneaking tonight. He is right in the limelight and is leading Robert Besaw Jr. here now with the inside lane and the outside lane fighting back and forth for who will control. You see, it looks like there's a couple more cars in the top lane towards the back, but both lanes are on their own. Less than 15 minutes now. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Once again, though, the top lane has now pulled ahead, and that will make Callahan and the others want to work harder. There seems to be one more car down there, someone who's comfortable pushing. I mean, it's really hard to say that because you see who's behind them, and you wonder how they're not comfortable pushing. But look at those gaps being left in the bottom lane there. That's why they're not catching up.
Yeah, big gaps in the bottom lane. I'm just trying to give a count of the cars that are on the top lane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Nearly 14 cars on the top lane, as the bottom lane nearly has about like 12.
It makes
10 to 12.
It makes me wonder if Callahan has a little bit of aero damage, why they're not catching up there. And I won't be surprised if Daniels or Dinkle or even Acosta decides to pull out here and try and pass him by.
Yeah. I don't see anybody for
There
the
goes
time you
Dinkle.
move to the bottom lane.
Dinkle to the middle. Dinkle to the middle. There goes Abner Acosta with him. Joshua Daniels missed the moment, and Acosta now, not even bump driving, but slamming Dinkle, and they're going to pass right by Callahan.
And this bottom lane is going to get like swallowed up by everybody in this middle lane. Now middle lane trying to become what would be a top lane, now getting bunched in nearly by a car in the middle that looked like to be Medina. From what it looks, or Pruitt, that actually got like nearly swallowed in by the private label team hype train.
That's how fast it happens. That's how fast you go from leading a lane to being well back in the lane because someone gets impatient. Because Abner Acosta just took Trent Dinkle and shoved him. And look at this. Now they're moving. Now they're getting up there. And now we're 3 wide for the first time with any real spot for contention. There's now 3 lanes here, all racing, hoping to get to the front with serious contention at Talladega. And it's getting close.
And nearly Medina making a little bit of contact, and with Pruitt that could have caused some immense damage. But that middle lane is like it's looking good.
It is looking good or scary, depending upon your point of view. That's the one car on the outside. That's Chris Vinson. I believe that to be the 88 in the middle. I don't have a name on that. I'm going to grab a name for that real quick. That's Mike Witt on the inside. We've seen him in some infamous moments in the past season or so. And then, of course, Trent Dinkle now. And, it's getting hairy.
Yeah, I can smell death from a mile away here, man. Loga is being left for dead.
And here's the crazy part. Well, they're all fighting like this, and now Vincent up in the high side, and that one seems to have the better run. There's a whole 3 or 4 car line in front of them who's pulling away, but now they're going to start to pull back together. It's now Vincent side by side with P4. That's the car on the top of your screen, that black, red, and yellow. And then you got Dinkle now pushing someone else around here. Someone's pulled down in front of Trent Dinkle. It's getting close. That's going to be Rodrigo Luca, by the way, on the bottom.
Yeah, Luca nearly making contact with the 37 out of Eric Papineau. Papineau, who just pitted in the previous pit stop. So looking really good at number 37 moving into the top 10. But those lanes, man, they're getting hairy. And so far, the PTLA Team TH drivers being left for dust in that bottom lane and cannot get back.
Now you'll start to see that top lane now going to form the bottom lane. They're going to pull Luga and others around. And there's Colton Easterday getting a big shove to the back of the car in front of him. Now, that's Chris Vincent, pardon me. That's not Vincent. That's Easterday. That is Easterday. That subtitle tried to fool me, and I'm not falling for that. Now he's moved to the bottom.
He's like, oh my.
And there you go. They're 4 wide back here. That is 4 wide back there with Luga and Trent Dinkle. Oh my goodness. It is right there on the screen. And you said it could happen at Talladega. And there it is.
No.
That's Joshua Daniels, I believe, there in the middle. And he is trying to hold on. And that's scary.
How they're keeping that alive. Here we go.
That's Daniels and others. There's no caution yet. It's under the line. Race control is going to let it go for the moment. We'll wait and see if that sticks or what happens here. Man, oh man, that's what happens to 4 wide. Just a little too high on the draft, I think, and spun him around. And he will not be a happy camper. Will be Joshua Daniels.
No, not 100%. And now here comes Easterday lead the top lane, nearly closing though. Look like to be right behind him. It looks like to be. I'm just trying to pick up if that is Pruitt or Dinkle that is right behind him on the top lane. That caught the action of the number 95.
Let's see it again here. Look at him, 4 wide. That's Pat Harvey in that bright green on the bottom, not involved. And that's Joshua Daniels getting turned. Everyone keeps going. In fact, look at Daniels. He gets to slow down, just grabs the gear, and even he keeps going.
That doesn't mean 360 no scope, if you ever want to call it that.
Yeah, that is one way to call it, I suppose.
Yep.
I'm sure there's also some skateboarders out there or snowboarders who have a name for it. Maybe it's called a 360. I don't know what you...
360 shove it.
There you go. Maybe you played some Tony Hawk Pro Skater in your younger years.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Oh, yeah.
I'm rooted on that video game.
There it is. Well, here we are.
Less simulator?
Maybe you can. Well, we're 8 minutes left, and look at them moving around. You asked earlier, you said, how will they handle the clock? Well, now you know. They're going to move around. They're going to find lanes. They're going to find positions. And they're at the risk right now of letting Besaw, Bergoli, Waldo, and Mike Witt and others lead this race if they're not careful.
Absolutely. Look at that top lane moving. That is on with Dinko Costa. I think that is also Vincent, and that is coming right behind him, and maybe someone else like Costa that is leading the train right now. So
that is in order. That's Abner Acosta, Jose Acosta, and Trent Dinkel. That is an all-star lineup of pushers right there. I would be happy to be in front of that lane, knowing that the pushing would be good.
All day, every day, baby.
Dinkel is now getting close to pushing the pusher, though. He is shoving Jose Acosta, who's getting shoved into Abner Acosta, and they're holding on to it. This cannot last for long. You have to respect that, Trent Dinkel. And that's Chris Vincent right behind him in fourth with his live spotter trying to give him a word and tell him where to go and when to go. Here we are, 7.5 minutes left. Maybe another 7 laps or 8 laps here is the most we could do before we run out of time.
Absolutely. I saw like Regan Chandler for 1 minute trying to break into 3 wide and having another lane formed up on him. That wasn't the case. Just saw one driver moving up that looked like to be Logan now on the top lane, trying to work with everybody else and see if that top lane is going to be the superior lane, as the bottom lane looks like to be broken up a bit.
Big shove from Abner and Trent Dinkel. That has put Abner, or from Jose, that has put Abner well out in the lead here. Look at that gap.
Yeah. Light shades of tech.
Let's watch this. We've been commenting how, sorry to cut you off, we've been commenting how much Trent Dinkel's pushing.
Yeah.
Watch this here. So you do it straight. There it is. Look at those shoves, and now they're in the bottom lane. Oh, no, don't get him loose.
Dinkel is slightly bothered by it, by the fact that Acosta is right there. Like, it's kind of like a light nature, you know.
Well, in every driver's mind in the super speedway, no one holds a straight line but you. So I'm sure in his mind, he thinks Jose Acosta is not holding still. And there's the move to the outside. And they're going to see now if he can get around the Acosta brothers. Yeah, it's got Besaw and Vincent and the others. That's Regan Chandler up behind him. You talked about him trying to form a lane earlier.
Besaw cut him.
Now there's 3 lanes.
Wide.
Well, there were 3 lanes, and then some people pulled down. But now Besaw is back up here. He's been up running front all day long. And now Dinkel has gotten himself between the Acostas. Now he, much like Corey Ensing last week, is in an Acosta sandwich.
Yeah, no, but Abner is now doing the push, and then Abner being pushed by Dinkel rather than Jose himself. Now Jose trying to fight on the side draft, open up that middle lane, and see who's that right behind him.
That's Paul Bergoli.
Yeah, Bergoli has been quiet within that, outside of the top 5, but finally being featured within that top 5 once again in this race. That car looking pretty good.
All right, with just about 5 minutes to go here. We're going to wait and see how they all come around. They're now starting to get 3 wide again, almost 4 at some points. This would be Abner, but there's Jose right on his side panel. Now trying to catch up here and make it a race here at Talladega.
Yeah, Yeah, really good racing between everybody so far. Right now it's just kind of like scramble, find the lane, see if that lane is fast, and see if they're gonna work with you on that lane, and that lane just keep on moving. I'm gonna see maybe bottom lane still quiet, but that top lane might be moving once they get out of 3 and 4, because you can see like Loga maybe trying to find something, Chandler trying to find something, Pat Harvey maybe trying to find something on the top lane. Here we go.
Now, Besaw, Vincent, and others have now abandoned Jose Acosta. And oh my goodness, there's Dinkle. Abner has moved up. This is getting serious here with about 4 minutes left. The guys know the clock is in play. Oh my gosh, look at this traffic back here. It's like a good old Friday afternoon highway.
It's kind of like catching the I-10, nearly crash. Here we go.
Hold on, wrecking, caution. Oh no, this might be the race. We're gonna have to wait and see here, but with only 4 minutes on the clock, I don't think we're gonna get green again. Well, as of right now, we're going to wait to see who the leader is. Last time by the system, the iRacing scoring showed Robert Besaw, but let's see where they all line up here and where the iRacing officials are going to put our cars, and we'll see if we can get around fast enough. I don't think we can. It would be pretty close here. I don't know. We've had this happen last season. It's going to come down to seconds on if we get another lap or not. So we're not done. I'm not calling it yet. It's going to be close.
Yeah, but that would have been that needs to be the fastest yellow flag in the history of mankind. It's kind of like whoever's dictating that pace car, Benny would have to basically become a GTP driver in IMSA with IMSA pace for us.
We'll wait and see here. So this is the wreck right here. Looking at 3 and 4 wide. There's Pat Harvey in the green car. There's a lap car on the outside, and someone just came up and bumped right there. That's going to be, I can't see a number on it. I apologize from the angle to see who that was, but that's just how fast it happens here.
It looks like to be Waddle Walden from what it looks like.
That may have been Walden. Yeah, you may be right about that, because he's no longer up in the top 10. Right now, according to what we can tell, it's going to be Abner Acosta, Besaw, Trent Dinkle, Rodrigo Luga, Regan Chandler up to P5, Bergoli, Tristan Callahan, Nathan Deering P8. Are you kidding me? He's been involved in a bunch of wrecks. I'm not being negative. I just never would have thought that was possible. And then Luke Christian and Eric Papineau in your top 10. So we're going to ride around here. But a little less than 2 minutes left here. We'll wait and see. It would not happen this time. It would probably be next time by would be when the lights would go out, if they're going to. This will be very quick on the pace lap here. I think we're done, to be clear. But I've seen crazier things in PRL history.
You get around in 1 minute and a half here. No, I don't think you do.
We'll have to wait and see here. It's going to be crazy if it happens. It'll be a one-lap shootout, and I'm here for it. Here's that wreck again, though. See him wrecking everywhere. And, oh, man, that's what happened to Pat Harvey. I was wondering. He just got spun afterwards.
Yeah, but and also more things happened right in front of them, so that's why it kind of like broke off between everybody. As they're right outside of turn 2. I'm gonna call it. I think this race is official. Even if Benny puts that car without the safety car lights, it is off on the next lap. This is gonna be official.
Right now, race control is having a conversation with the drivers, making them aware of the possible scenarios. It sounds like we're going to extend the caution, I think, to put it over here. But we're going to wait and see what happens. So right now, Abner Acosta, it'd be another week of an Acosta winner. This would be 3 weeks, 3 Acosta wins, 2 Acosta brothers in the PRL Cup Series if it finishes this way.
Yep, 100%. And Abner now would be the winner. I'm just trying to pick up if that would be the third different winner in this season, because I think Abner actually will be the second, the only driver with 2 wins in this season 4. So the fact that the Jose Acosta won race 2, now Abner now back to the victory lane.
All right, white flag is out under caution. Race control has told us they're going to guarantee it finishes, under yellow. I was trying to add some words and combine them together. That's not how that works. So here we go. So what a race it was. What a clean and a great race it has been overall. We've seen a couple yellows, and that's okay. We saw some great tight 3 and 4 wide racing. So a lot of movements, a lot of bumping, a lot of beating, a lot of respect being shown for these drivers. Well, one more time, I do want to say thank you to the drivers, which would be a lot of them. Trent Dinkle. I'm going to miss some of these, so I apologize. Lou Christian, Chris Hudson, and others who were carrying those white ribbons or 44 Evers on their car tonight. It was a great show for a league member of CM Pennington, who's fighting a big fight right now. So if you can have any space in your thoughts for someone who means a lot to the community, CM Pennington would be the guy to put in those thoughts right now.
No, absolutely, man. It's keep that fight strong, CM, and hopefully certainly we'll get through about this, and appreciate the support out of everybody, and you're going to be running strong here in when he races. He's my weekly reference of wrestling references, because he's, you do like the CM, Punk Pennington, or it's clobbering time, or whatever else, best in the world CM Pennington. And without that, I don't know what I'm going to do, right? That's my weekly reference. But here we go. We're going to finish it out under caution here at Talladega. It'll be Abner Acosta, Robert Besaw, Trent Dinkle, Rodrigo Luga, and Regan Chandler. Regan Chandler in the top 5 out of nowhere. Like, we saw him a couple times tonight and mentioned him, but I think the best I saw him was top 10. Yep. And after that wreck, he survived. Now he's top 5. Absolutely. What a race from Regan Chandler, just being, like a bumper, like Deering, Deering receiving basically bumps and grinds from everybody, but still getting top 10. Regan Chandler, you never thought he would be featured within that top 5. Really good race so far in Loga. Despite not being collaborated, it's also another top 5 for that number 79. That's really good.
Well, speaking of celebrations, it's about to break out in the sim. It's about to break out in chat. A fan favorite. It's going to come around one more time. Look at Barney. Barney's stoked. Look at that flag waving.
He's waving.
You need to love your job as much as Barney does. But Abner Acosta is going to win this race here at Talladega. Well, as we get the results loaded up, once again, thank you for hanging out here on RaceSpotTV. We're not done. We're going to catch up with Abner. We're going to catch up with Trent. We're going to catch up with Robert Besaw Jr. and have conversations with the 3 of them as they make their way to the Discord server eventually, and they'll come talk to us and give us their thoughts on the race. But what a great day it was here. What a great day it has been for Abner Acosta. Well, as it all loads up here, let's go ahead and look at the finishing grid and see how they all wind out. It'll load up here. There it is. It's Abner Acosta in first, Robert Besaw Jr. in second, Trent Dinkle in third, Rodrigo Luga in fourth, Regan Chandler in fifth with Paul Bergoli back in P6, and then Tristan Callahan, Nathan Deering, Lou Christian, and Eric Papineau round out your top 10. P11's Federico Weisenholder with Pat Harvey in 12th. Jose Acosta in 13th with Mike Witt back in P14. And Waldo Walden finishes P15. Then it's Richard Pruitt, Jay McDonald, Colton Easterday, Chris Vinson, and James O'Brien in your top 20. Then it's going to be Hilliard, Jose Medina, Joshua Daniels, Maverick Davis, Bradley Moore, Tom Amassi, and then Chris Hudson, Landon Mills, Robert Gamble, and Tommy Brandon. That's your top 30 for this race. Well, Lorenzo, he's coming around now to celebrate. It's a long lap here when you're just under pacing speed. What a great race it was for Abner.
What a good race, just being in the right time, the right place at the right time for Abner. Of course, he's going to be very appreciative of the fact that he's going to be winning this. His team is going to have really good points once again with Trent in third place, but it's going to extend maybe the lead of Abner Acosta in the championship, and looking forward to see what the next few rounds have in store for him.
Definitely. So, listen, before we get to our top three, I want to have a conversation with someone. I want to have a conversation with Nathan Deering real quick. Nathan, you're involved in 2 wrecks in your P8 in the Cup Series. How does that happen?
It usually doesn't. Yeah, it was a day full of adversity for me. Like at the very beginning, I actually lost the lead draft, lost the end of the pack due to someone that was blinking. So I lost the pack, went a lap down. Caution came out. As soon as I got back up there, got involved with that first accident, and then another one. Even with all that damage, somehow made it back up to the front and finished P8. So it's pretty incredible.
Well, listen, I want to catch up with you real quick and tell you a good job. And we saw you all night long. We're going to get to our podium, but a good job in your race tonight.
Yep. Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Oh, thank you. That's Nathan Deering. Had an incredible night here. But now let's go ahead and go over first to our race winner. We need to change his address to the broadcast booth because he's here so often. Abner Acosta, you did it. You're a winner at Talladega.
Yeah, really don't like super speedways. To me, that was really boring 80 laps. I just hate it. So, but I guess, yeah, at the end it got really crazy and fun for those last 10, 15, and I got lucky and a push from Trent there at the end.
I'm sorry, did you say the word boring? Because I'm telling you from our point of view, your race wasn't boring, my dude. You were being pushed and pushing and beating and banging. How was that boring?
I just hate super speedways, man. It's a waiting game, and then it's just like I just don't like the racing on it. I'd rather do like dirt, anything else than super speedway. So I mean, I guess I'm being rude because I won, but I just hate super speedway racing, and I feel like I'm sitting there the whole time.
Well,
but
I know next week is something you're going to love, right?
Oh yeah, I'm going to love it next week for sure. Put in some practice for that one.
Yep, next week is the Charlotte Roval. Well, listen, now here we are 3 weeks in. We've had 3 Acosta wins across 2 different brothers. This is looking to be a good season for you.
Yeah, I was actually kind of joking about it when I think there was a time my brother had the high lane and I had the inside lane, and I was telling the guys to let us win so we can have an Acosta, season going. And I guess it's still going, but I know next week's going to be difficult with Trent and Landon, so we'll see what happens.
Well, listen, great job tonight. We're all proud of you up here in the booth, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, I'll see you guys. Thank you, and I want to give a shout out to CM Pennington. We ran that scheme today for him. He's going through a really tough time, and I want to thank everybody at Private Label, Team Hype, James, and Trent that pushed me there at the end. He could have went for the pass if he wanted to, and he decided to push me and help me in the win. So thank you to you guys at RaceSpot and everybody else. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Abner. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's Abner Acosta, the driver of the 5 car. Meanwhile, the driver of the 3 car is Robert Bisau Jr., and he has caught up with Lorenzo Bonder.
Yeah, so Bisau, really good race so far, and you were moving in this field, man. And that came close. That came up to the very wire. Did you think you would have it by the time the yellow flag came out? Because that was really close to Abner.
I didn't think I didn't think I was going to have it then. I made a move to get in the middle, and I had some help behind, but I think the top line would have put something together. So I was just trying to get out of it what I could, but I didn't think I was actually going to get that close as I did.
Okay, fair. All right, man. And most importantly, and it's really good for you to be in this championship, getting to second place will maybe propel you to get ahead of Hudson and Harvey within the season, but then you still would have to think maybe within the playoff results. Now we go into the Charlotte Roval, maybe the final round within this first round of the playoffs. How do you negotiate going from a track that is very fast and going to a Roval that is going to be difficult for you to overtake unless you know what you're doing around the track?
It's just going to be survival for me. I'm not a road racer. I'm not that good there. So this was what I needed, I guess, to hopefully stay in the points, in the points race. But I'm just going to try to stay on track next week. It's not my cup of tea. If I can get some good practice in, and if somebody else has a bad day, then maybe I'll benefit a little bit from that as well.
Absolutely, always got to keep your hopes up. Well, Robert, again, congratulations to the P2. That was close, but let's see if that next race is going to keep you within that top 8 for the next round.
Thank you.
Top 12, actually.
Yes.
All
12.
right, well, that is Robert Besaw Jr., driver of the 3-car. And now the last interview of our night is Trent Dinkle. Trent, I don't recall you're the biggest fan of this type of racing either. I think you sort of match a Cobner in that way, right?
Oh, hell yeah. I do not like play racing at all. I mean, basically just for, what happened tonight. I mean, we were kind of not dominating and by any means, but we were able to hold the high line and we were cruising, and then after that last restart, things got a little sideways. And then it was just, I don't know, a weird bug. I don't know, but I could definitely feel when I was getting pushed off of the right side of my car versus the left, it was just dragging the whole car back. And the first part, Paul was doing a great job pushing. We held the lead for the majority of the beginning of the race, but I could tell when somebody would get in front of me, I could push them to 200, 201, and when I was getting pushed, we were only doing like 195. But and then the middle or end of the race, it was just crazy. I was trying to push Abner for everything he could take and keep everybody behind us, and I know there's probably some moments people probably won't be very happy with me, kind of blocking lanes from moving and passing Abner's brother to try and keep a lane from not moving. But yeah, that was these things should just be like 10 laps. We just do like a 10-lap shootout because it's basically the same thing.
Well, listen, we're going to go from one extreme to the other next week. We're going to go from super speedways to another one of your favorites. We're going to the Roval.
Yeah, I'm excited. The Roval's probably the hardest track for me. I know the last time we were there, I won, but it took probably a solid 15 hours out of my life just to be a little bit faster than Abner. And if Landon shows up, then I got to try and beat both of them. But I did some practice earlier. Obviously I was decently quick. I was like a second slower than Conti was with his videos, so I'll figure it out. And got a whole week. Hopefully my new computer will come in, so I'm not fighting that too. And yeah.
Well, listen, last question I have for you. We saw you and your teammates running that the tribute on your car tonight. What did that mean to you?
Yeah, I know, I know I raced with CM in the Cup Series, but that was more of like a, Wednesday night thing. And I know Abner's really close with him. And regardless, I truly hate that somebody's going through that, honestly. My heart just goes out to him and his family. And, even if, not necessarily me or Abner or anybody in particular, but if him just seeing his name out on basically, half the field tonight, hopefully that'll make him bring up some joy in these tough times. And yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's always tough to know someone's going through those things. Well, listen, Trent, you had a great run tonight. Be proud of yourself, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, I'm just glad I finished, so I'll take it.
There you go. Well, that's Trent Dinkle. Glad he finished, and that'll wrap up our interviews. Well, Lorenzo, I want to personally take a second and say thank you to Jose Medina, one of the gentlemen who helped organize this moment and this paint schemes and ideas for CM Pennington. But what a race it was, right? So many memorable moments.
Yeah, man, it delivered action, memorable moments, some drama right here and there. And it is that traditional Talladega race that you never know what you're going to get until the very end of it, But now it's like we're going from different extremes. You go from fast to slightly more slower thing than in the Roval. I like the Rovals, but, Charlotte's not an easy one for you to master. That layout can prove slightly challenging for those even that know how to drive road races like I do. But let's see what the Proud Label Team Hype Boys and the rest will come out with their store in terms of setups and tweaky things for next week.
That's right. So it's next Sunday, October 8th. Normal broadcast time will be at the Charlotte Roval. Well, listen, thanks so much for hanging out tonight on RaceSpotTV. I've been Derek Watson. He's been Lorenzo Bonder. I'll give a special shout out to our producer Hugo for being in the background with all the awesome cameras. But for tonight, congratulations to Abner Acosta, the winner at Talladega.